So I was thinking about something the other day, right? Have you guys ever read a quote and it just sticks with you and it resonates with you so deeply that you carry it with you on your journey in life because it reminds you of the reality of life versus what we imagine life to be? I was thinking the other day, and I think about this quote pretty often, being that I love studying human behavior and psychology and trying to figure out how to create solutions for humanity to create less suffering on the planet or to create less suffering internally inside of us all. That has become my life purpose. And the reason why that has become my life purpose is because I grew up through a lot of suffering and I didn't know why. I was angry, I was bitter, I was rebellious. When people would try to do things to help me make better decisions in my life. I didn't want to receive those things, those great assets of wisdom and understanding from others who probably been there and done that. I wanted to do it my way, so to speak. And after going through so many experiences as a 50-year-old man, currently, well, I'll be 50 in a few weeks, March the 21st. I was confused about life for a long time, but I did know I wanted to experience love like we all do. We all want to experience some type of organic love where we know that people got our best interest at hand. And growing up, it didn't feel, I want to resonate that word again, it didn't feel like I was loved. But in my greater years of understanding, I know that I was. See, when you're young, dumb, and full of, you tend to not appreciate the value of those who come before you trying to get you to prevent whatever said failures that they deem you will experience because you're not listening to them. And as I was growing up, through all this suffering, through all of this heartache, through all of this pain, and me having a rebellious spirit and an untrusting spirit towards people, I read a quote years ago by Bob Marley. And it says that truth is that everyone will hurt you, but you have to choose the ones that you're willing to suffer for. Now that brings me into the ideology or the concept of, Christ, right? We're probably all familiar with the story of, Jesus died for our sins. God was done with humanity because humanity was just not receptive to the love that God was trying to bestow in them and the chances that he was, or it, I don't like to say he, but it was trying to give humanity to transform the suffering, right? And when Christ decided to step in to sacrifice its life for humanity because of love, because of forgiveness, because of grace, right? And we're just talking context, story context, right? This is not whether you believe this or not. We're just talking about story context, how the story is formulated for us to try to understand and comprehend. That's all I want to focus on. I want to focus on the belief systems, right? Because I don't believe in anything, right? I don't believe in any systematic system that doesn't allow people to flourish, grow. So if it's enslaving them, then I have a problem with that. That's a whole nother conversation. So I just don't want to lose you guys. I just want to give context to you based on the story to make a point. So just based on my suffering, right? And then me growing up through the suffering, and then me taking that suffering and wanting to find ways to heal other people's suffering became my purpose. And going back to the Christ story is how I spend hours upon hours and decades upon decades figuring out, right? Silencing the curriculum educational system that was embedded in me and learning to be silent and to really listen and pay attention to that innate consciousness and that innate intelligence that has allowed me to separate myself from curriculum intelligence to just that internal stillness intelligence, that consciousness that tells you what it is and not what it appears to be. Man, it's such a great freedom to come through all of that, to be currently where I am today, to be able to help others. Now, sometimes that's tough, right? And let's just continue to kind of focus on the Christ story. Sometimes that's tough because as much as we may love something, someone, and we want to pour that richness, that freedom into them, they'll continue to stay trapped in those illusions of what they consider to be happiness or um, unsuffering, right? It's so many pieces to the puzzle in this life that we've created as human beings. But the reality of life is so minute and so macro, it's so easy to understand, and it's so simple to fix our issues that it's mind boggling. It's so simple that we overlook it by complicating it with every other illusion that we possibly can throw in the mix. And that one thing is love. It's just that simple. It's just treat your neighbor as you want to be treated. If you want to be treated with respect, love, then treat your neighbor like that. Your neighbor, your spouse, your kids, a stranger, someone you don't know. It's just that simple. Just that simple, right? Just treat people how you want to be treated. If you want to be treated foul, then you do those things, and when those things come back to you, and you get angry and you get implosive internally or explosive externally, then you have the problem. The problem resides within you. That's why they always say that the truth is not far from you, it is always in you. Because when you learn to silence the curriculum or the outside noise and you just come to a place of stillness where you're just sitting and we're not talking about just rumbling your experiences or your fears or your traumas. We're talking about just really starting to think, man, how can I become a better human being to myself and to other people, right? How can I start erasing all of the things that were stamped in me that caused me to cause other human beings to suffer on this planet? How can I get rid of those things? What processes can I go through that will help refine me? Refine means to remove, purify. And it's tough. It's tough because they're deeply embedded programs into the psychosis of the human being. There's so many control systems on this planet that keeps us from really understanding the simplicity to heal our pain and suffering, that is what those who have escaped those particular boundaries of mental slavery try to help those who are still caught up in it. And that is the tough part. The tough part is to try to get you to understand the simplicity of the repair. The simplicity of the repair. It is easy to repair the conditions that we are currently dealing with on this planet. There is no reason why we should constantly be in the loops that we are in, right? 365 days a year, we're doing the exact same things, different week, different months, same curriculums, programs, and enslavements are there, not giving you a break mentally. You go from New Year's, Christmas, New Year's, all these other holidays. I don't even know most of them because I've erased them out of my existence. I don't want to retain that information because I'm moving towards a new plane of thought and have been. And I want you to realize how important it is to not sit there and soak in the information that you don't want to become like. Remember, when you hear something, see something, you start to reflect that same thing. So, it is important to realize that you have those who love you that don't know you, that want to see you have a better day, that want to see you have a smile, a break, from your anxieties and your depressions and your self-endowed sufferings, right? There are people on this planet who are trying to clean it up internally inside of you, right? Uh, it's plenty, right? So you have to be mindful of what you're paying attention to, because the more you pay attention to the things that are not allowing you to alleviate, to elevate, then you can't escape. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not alleviating and elevating, you're not escaping. You're going to stay in the same mindset. That's why they call it mindset. The set of the mind can't change because it's already made up, right? And once the mind is made, that's the The beautiful thing about the power of the mind is that it does not have to be made up. It can transition and change at a millisecond. But we have so many things that we're fighting against, like other people's viewpoint. Oh, if I stop believing in that thing that I thought was real, I'm gonna have all of the people that know me to be that. They're gonna judge me. They're gonna walk away from me. They're not gonna respect me. They're gonna say I was a fraud or fraudulent or whatever. And these are the things that you will experience when you're trying to gain your freedom. That's just what it is, because you're starting to, like they say, escape the matrix, right? You're decoding the program. So to draw back to the beginning of the conversation is me going through all of the suffering that I went through allowed me to want to create a deep passion to understand and study humanity, study self, and to free self. Now remember, I can go out here, I can endow myself in all the curriculums and become a psychologist according to the perspectives of studies that's already been there, but I choose not to go into those realms because those realms are still programs in their curriculums and they have narrow viewpoints. I choose to study life on the macro level, right? The macro level, not just the physical level that you see us on, but the macro level, right? We're talking about the level that's microscopic, that can't really be seen, but it can be seen if you close your eyes and you listen to the innate intelligence that's already there. It's in your DNA, right? It's in your ether, right? It's in your innerverse, just like it's in the outerverse, right? As above, so below. All of that is a part of you. All of that is a part of us. That's why in my videos, I try to emphasize the illusion of individuality, because individuality doesn't exist. It's just an idea that it does. But the reality is that we all feed off each other. That's why we all can impact each other. That's why each person experience can affect another person experience, because you're not alleviated from that. You are a part of that, and you have to understand how to operate in that and to create a cohesive union of people who can see clearly through the mask and the illusions of the programs that have been deeply embedded in us. And that's my purpose. That's why I said, I was thinking the other day, as I am currently turning 50 years old, as they consider it to be a half a century on this planet, and I want to make an impact on other people's life. I want to have an impact on other people's life. I want to find a way to serve not just myself and the freedoms that I've gained, but other people. And it starts by making videos. It starts by taking a camera, putting it on me, and me reflecting the essence of what you're searching for internally, right? The beauty, I've always said this when I became a photographer, and now getting more into videography and learning, how to create video content. I always said that the greatest invention that was ever created, and it's a lot of them, the camera is like top 3, right? I would put it at top 1. And the reason why is because if you go back in the day where man left memory, right? Man left memory through, hieroglyphs, right? He carved in walls and he etched and sketched, and he wanted to leave, the history behind. And when the newer generation was coming, they would have, to decode that or try to understand what was there before them. But the beautiful thing about the technology we have today, we have video recording. We can actually literally record ourselves in real time, and it can stay on a memory card. And it can be valuable to those who will come eons later to see exactly what we was experiencing. They don't have to think that they know what was going on, just like we do today. We think we know what was going on. We have archaeologists and people digging in dirt and trying to understand things that they currently really don't. They're just giving ideologies to, ideas, perceptions, concepts that they really don't know. We really don't know, but this is what we think happened, and now we live in a world full of what we think happened. We live in a world full of thinkers instead of knowers, right? So most beautiful invention to me is the camera, because it does so many things that creates value. Okay, so that was just a quick rant, but back to the subject at hand. With me being a half a century, going to be 50 in a couple weeks, growing up through all those experiences of suffering, and then wanting to convert all that suffering into purpose, and then learning to articulate that in the world that we live in, so that it can create value to people that will tune into this video and share the video. I must say that I'm appreciative. Appreciative just to have the information that I have to be able to share it with you. And if you lasted this long in this video, I appreciate it. I appreciate you wanting to get real value, real substance out of life versus just watching videos that don't serve you. They just give you dopamine hits. And I know these videos that can be long, very winded, and very confusing, but intellectual at the same time. I appreciate those who take the time to listen, that don't just click off in the first couple of seconds or first couple of minutes, right? It says a lot about you. It really does. It says that you're really interested in learning more, and that you don't have to be caught up in the TikTok rhythm of life where everything is instant satisfaction, that you know how to hit the pause button in your life so that you can create value and gain something from someone else who has had the experience to be able to sit down and give it to you because they love you without even knowing you. So just be appreciative of those things. So I will close this video. Before I close this video, I got to start getting used to, because I'm so out of the loop of programming, but I do know that it's hard for me to remember those things, like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe, right? Just giving a command to people so that they will continue to get the upcoming video content that you'll be producing or I'll be producing. So if you like the video, please like the video, please share the video, please subscribe to the channel, please let other people know out there about this video, and if you can create value to them, please do share that. So I'm going to end this by saying, let's go back to the foundation of the conversation. The truth is, like I said, one of the most infamous quotes that helped me in my life by Bob Marley was, the truth is, everyone will hurt you, but you have to choose the ones you're willing to suffer for. That means it's a choice. That means you can't alleviate suffering on this planet and hurt and pain, but you can learn to understand how to coexist with it and teach those how to create less of it so that we can create more of a harmonious way of living. So, with that being said, I'm Jah God 7. I'm signing out. And one of my sayings that I coined is, if you exercise supreme thought, that means when you bring in your intellectual property and you stay in it consciously, not unconsciously, every millisecond, every hour, every minute of the day, you exercise that state of your supreme consciousness, you will understand what it means to be the supreme being. You will understand the ether of God's mind, because you will reflect what it is by understanding that you are everything and everything is you. And it is your responsibility, just like it is someone else's responsibility, to learn how to uniform that, to create the mastermind that created everything that you see exist, including itself, which is your reflection. Peace, people. Be blessed. Be refined. And if you don't understand anything in this video, please rewind. I'm out. Have a great day.